And so today we are talking about the 3 reasons why people do not start embroidery businesses. And in my opinion, all of them are mistakes, okay? And so everything that I am going to state here are mistakes for not starting an embroidery business. And so this video is not for you if you are an embroidery hobbyist who have no desire in starting an embroidery business. I get it. Some people buy embroidery machines and it is strictly for a hobby. Okay, they like to embroider, they like to give things as a gift. That means you do not want to be paid for your good. You just want to give it out the kindness of your heart, and that's it. However, there are people who do buy embroidery machines and they have the desire to start a business, but for these reasons that I am stating in this video, they have not done so. So let's get started. Okay, so I find that the number one mistake that embroidery machine owners make is they are scared to take the plunge. Okay, they are scared to take the plunge to start an embroidery business. And the number one reason I find that they are scared to take the plunge to start an embroidery business is because they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. I gotta tell you though, if I had been doing this video back in 2014, 2015, 2016, I would have accepted that you have this embroidery machine and you just don't know what to do. But in 2020, not acceptable. All right, not knowing where to start, in your embroidery business is not acceptable in 2020. And I gotta tell you why. With all the embroidery groups on Facebook, not knowing where to start is no longer acceptable, nor is it an excuse. It's no longer an excuse. Simply join any of these groups for free and ask, is there anyone in your state willing to become an embroidery buddy? Okay, I am the host or the president of the group Embroidery Boss on Facebook, and that group is 13,000 members strong. But there are some embroidery groups on Facebook that are 30,000 members strong and more. That's the equivalent of a town, a town or a city. And so all you have to do really is make a post and someone will be willing to help you. Someone will be willing to help you. Okay. And so I got to tell you that, I started embroidering back in 2006 when I used to own a medical uniform store. And back then I was new to embroidery. Okay. And YouTube at this point was a baby. Okay. So YouTube was a toddler sized platform. So there was no YouTubing videos. There was none of that. All right. But there was forums. There were these chat groups all over the place that you could join the chat groups. And there would be people from everywhere posting all these beautiful projects. But everyone was so tight-lipped. Everyone was so tight-lipped. It was just so discouraging, to be quite frank. No one was willing to give tips. No one was willing to share sources where they got designs from or where they got embroidery fonts from. But everyone was willing to post pictures of their beautiful embroidered projects and, willing to make you drool over envy, but not willing to share and say, well, I did this, or this is where I got it from, or this is what you can do to make life easier for you if you want to sell this thing. No one was willing to give any kind of things. But I gotta tell you, nearly 15 years later, the culture have changed. The culture have changed. All right, you do have people willing to share their secrets. You do have people willing to give you tips. You do have people willing to be hired. Even back in 2006, there was no one to even hire, really. There was no one to pair up as a free buddy. There was no one willing to talk on the phone with you. But everybody was willing to dangle their beautiful embroidered projects on these online forums. Today, you don't have to deal with that. And so not knowing where to start is no longer acceptable. It is no longer an excuse. You can find out how to start. And the best part about it is you can get help from so many different people, and you can take one thing from this person, one thing from that person, one thing from another, on top of coming on YouTube, and you can kind of just literally search any kind of topic and incorporate it into your embroidery business for your foundation on where to start. So not knowing where to start is not acceptable anymore. Okay, so the second reason embroidery machine owners do not start a business, they don't take the plunge, is because they think they're not ready. They think that they're not an expert, they don't know enough. And okay, you might not be an expert, but you probably know enough about your embroidery machine and the product that you want to offer to provide services. So don't feel like you need to be a big expert and you need to know so much. Because, honestly, you only need to operate your embroidery machine so you can run your business. Okay, and as long as you can do that, you can continue to learn while running your business, while growing your business. And there is no shame in learning. Okay, and in fact, it's a requirement for growth. And so I will never be finished learning. When I look at myself and I talk about myself, I will tell anyone, yes, I proclaim myself to be an embroidery expert. But I got to tell you what this really means to me is that I am committed to learning, sharing, and teaching. And so for me, learning, I will never be finished learning, not as long as I'm in the embroidery industry. Okay, so the last reason why embroidery machine owners do not take the plunge and start an embroidery business is out of fear of failing. Out of fear of failing, sometimes the idea of failing in front of everyone after you done told everybody about your embroidery business that you're going to start can be so embarrassing that we kind of talk ourselves right out of it. And I don't want to sit here and minimize like failing is not scary, especially after making a large investment on an embroidery machine, whether you've borrowed the money, used your tax returns, or saved up for the money, or leased it, financed it. It's a large investment. It is a large investment, but you won't know if you don't try. You won't know if you don't try. So here's what I recommend that you do. Talk openly with your family about your venture. Okay, tell them the risks that are involved. Okay, tell them what you are about to do, how important it will be that your time is invested in nurturing your new business. Okay, and I always say, don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask everybody for help, according to their age level, of course, and skill level too, but always be willing to ask for help. Even on the smallest task can free up some time in your embroidery space and give you some more time to dedicate it to learning your machine and your business. And if you have a spouse or a partner, a mother, a sister, a best friend, tell them that you're going to need support from them. Tell them that, I'm going to lean on you, sometimes, and I need you to be there for me. And I got to tell you that if you got kids, whether they are young kids or adult kids, they need to see you give it a go. They need to see you giving it a shot at your dreams. Okay. And so I say, do not let fear of failing stop you from taking the plunge and starting an embroidery business. And before we move forward, I do want to add that find someone to discuss your fears with. And once again, rely on those supportive Facebook groups to vent to. We've all been where you are. And I got to tell you that you will be surprised how talking to people who understand where you are can be so encouraging and ease your apprehension. So, which category do you fit in? Are you scared to start an embroidery business because you don't know where to start? Okay, now you know. And so now you know that you can go on Facebook and join one of those groups and you can get the support that you need. Okay, there are thousands of people that are willing to help you along, okay, to help you get started, to get on the right path, and to give you the support that you will need to get started. And remember, we have all been there, so no longer do you have the excuse that you don't know where to start, because now you know. And number 2, do you think that you lack the skills or the knowledge to start? Well, as long as you commit to a continued learning process, you will be fine. You'll be fine. You know how to cut your machine on. You know how to embroider some items. You will be fine. Okay, and like I said, just continue to learn and you will be okay. All right, and then the last is, are you afraid of failure? Well, what if you don't fail? What if you don't fail? What if you launch your embroidery business and it all goes well? Then what? However, you'll never know if you don't start. So you gotta start it. You gotta start your embroidery business and, continue learning. Get the support that you need from the Facebook groups and you will be fine. And so that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And once again, you can find me in the group Embroidery Boss and in the group Dollar Tree Moneymakers. But you can always come and visit me on Facebook at KandiaHaynesworth.com, as well as Instagram and Pinterest at Kandia Haynesworth Designs. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.